Good morning. Welcome to the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show, brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. I'm your host, Harvey Free. Alongside of me, Harry Glantz.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Harvey. It's nice to be here with you. Talk about a lot of things. The market's pretty fluid out there. The mortgage market, the real estate market. You know, they're floating out there a 50-year mortgage. I don't know that I agree with it, but they're floating it out. They're floating out portable mortgages, too. How about when you move, take your existing mortgage with you and put it on the new house?
Oh, cool, Harry. So if I have 100...
We can talk about that.
Yeah. It's like if you have a bad stock, you have 100 shares of a bad stock, I'll just move it over to Apple. It's no problem. Yeah, that makes sense. Hey, let me introduce our guest first. We got so much to share with you this morning. Great information about mortgages and real estate. Scott Craver, of course, from Opul Realty. Scotty, thanks for joining us. You have a long history of being in real estate. You used to work, your family owned a title company and former owners of Title I back in the day, and you used to close a lot of our loans when you were in your 20s. You might have been in your teens.
We go way back, early 20s for sure.
The experience you have, of course, feeds into you being a real estate agent here for the last, 18, 20 years or even longer?
Yeah, about 15 years now.
Well, it's all related, isn't it? Everything's related. I mean, if you're a realtor, title work, mortgage people, surveyors back in the day, Chemtech out at Mel at Chemtech out on the east side. We love Mel. It's all related. And we get to know each other. We get to know each other over the years. And the best part about being in this business is the relationships that we've established over the years with you and people like you. So when you work with quality people and you do a quality transaction, things 9 out of 10 times usually are very, very smooth. Right, Harv?
Well, things that could be smooth. We could definitely make things smooth.
My transactions are really smooth. I can only tell you that.
I agree 100%.
Because we make it easy for people. I mean, we take all the guesswork out of it. And again, this is not an hour-long commercial, but I'm telling you, it doesn't matter what industry you're in. If you're with people that have done a lot of transactions, a lot of business, you don't even know how hard it is on the back end because they make it so easy for you on the front end.
That's an underrated statement right there because I really do believe that it's a small community of the actual quality people in our industry, and we all know each other, and you know when you're working with somebody that's going to get a deal closed and when you're working with somebody who this thing might fall apart. I'm not sure exactly what's happening here.
It's funny you should bring that up. I called a guy. I was starting to get a call from a selling agent. Said, "Hey, Harvey, when's this appraisal and this and that?" I'm like, "Hey, we got this. It's through the VA portal and everything." Well, I called the listing agent up, and sure enough, his voicemail was full. So I have a weird feeling that appraiser was already calling him for a couple days, and sometimes small things like that. So communication, Scotty, we're going to dive into that this morning. We're going to talk about some different price points. Of course, what's going on with that 50-year mortgage. We have a ton to share with you this morning. I'll get my head together. Of course, Becky Alley is going to be live on Fox 2 this morning talking about Creator Con and giving us a plug for here on the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Show. We're in our 25th year. Of course, Capital Mortgage Funding in existence for over 35 years. We are brought to you this morning, of course, by CMG Home Loans, NMLS 1820 Equal Housing Lender. But we take your calls live in the studio, 248-539-9797. Let's get some of this other stuff out of the way here, and we'll dive into some real estate talk. Mortgage rates are definitely better than they were last year, Harry, and a lot of our clients and family members are reaching back out to us. We're saving so many folks money right now doing those.
Yeah, the plus factor about being in this business a long time is you could help so many people out. And the Fed lowered the Fed funds rate this past month, and probably going to do it again this month, although there's a hint of talking about pausing it. I don't buy it for 1 second. I just don't. But the mortgage rates, they were lower before the Fed actually lowered the Fed funds rate. Mortgage rates have actually gone up a little bit and have settled in. People got off the fence. They realized, what are you waiting for? We say it a million times. Why are you waiting to save money? Save money now. Pay off toxic debt, 18 to 24% interest rates on your credit cards. Get rid of all those. The appreciation in your house is going up. We're seeing right now a little bit lull in the market because it's pre-holiday. It happens every year. It's going to happen. If you're looking to buy a house, I wouldn't wait. What are you waiting for there? Prices of homes are going to be higher in the spring than they are right now. I could say that with 99% certainty. I think that's a pretty good percentage. If you got 99% on all your tests in school,
I'll take it.
You'll take it. Anybody will take it.
Scott, we're definitely going to go into that's how you and I actually pre-showed, and we talked about that a little bit. We talked about this is your opportunity. So we'll get into Becky, I think, is calling in. Good morning, Becky. You're live on the air with us.
Hey, everybody. I just wanted to chime in and say hello and do a quick plug for where we're going to be live at today. It is CreatorCon in Detroit at Huntington Place. I'm going to be here all day. Harvey's going to come in after the show as well. It's going on from 10 to 9 tonight at Huntington Place in Detroit. I'm about to be interviewed live on Fox 2 News. It's definitely a vibe down here. CreatorCon is where, if you're looking to be an entrepreneur, if you want to get some ideas, social media, it's where, it's local, national businesses all coming to one place here in Detroit. So it's really cool.
Yeah, lots of fun. And if anyone doesn't know, that's formerly Cobo Hall. I'm the one who had to wrap my head around that.
Yeah.
That's how
you're
old
going to be
we are.
down at Cobo Hall, Becky. I'm like, yes, I'm down here.
Are you allowed to say that anymore? Who knows? I'm not plugging anyone else.
Yeah.
Beck, I'm looking forward to it. We'll do a little podcast, and of course, there's a lot of different things going on down there. You're an entrepreneur, of course. Real estate is down there. Financial people are down there. There's clothing. I mean, there's a little of everything down there. This will be the third year Robert Courtney puts on CreatorCon. A really cool event.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a good time. It's mortgages, it's real estate, it's fashion, it's social media, it's everything that you could possibly imagine to be creative and stay in your childlike mind in one spot. So if you're in the area, you can walk in. There's tickets still available. So come down here. Even if you just say hi to us, come to the podcast playground and just say what's up so we can meet you in person.
Oh, fantastic. All right. It's Becky Alley, of course, top 1% of all originators. You can check us out there at the Huntington Place, formerly of Cobo Hall, and definitely we'll have a good time. Beck, I'll call you after
Becky,
the show.
say hi to everybody for us. Tell them we're looking out for them, all right? Tell them we say hi.
All right, we'll watch for
Absolutely.
you on TV here. You'll see her on Fox 2 this morning. Okay, she's always looking great. Good stuff, Beck. Have fun.
All right, cool. All
right, always sharing some great information about mortgage and real estate. And Scotty, you and I were talking actually last night. We were all throughout the week. We said, let's just talk about a few subjects. And one of them that kept coming up was, now's the opportunity. I'm not saying prices flattened or anything like that, because homes do appreciate. And I think as soon as this, as Harry mentioned, the calendar is going to flip to 2026. If you don't go ahead and buy, let's say before February, now we're into the spring of 2026. And from last year to this year, we just did a couple appraisals on homes that we needed appraisals on some refis. They've gone up 5 to 10%. So the homes continue to appreciate.
100%. One of the things I don't think people realize is when you go into the winter season here, you've got an entire summer's worth of comps on appraisals. All these homes have sold at higher numbers, and so you've got that entire season there supporting the winter. So even when it's slow, you can go back 6 months and find these prices, and that will support your value. Another thing on the winter time is, again, competition's down. There's a lot of people that sit on the sidelines. Kids are back in school. They're waiting through the year. If you're diligent and you want to get out there and make it happen, you can get it done right now.
And Scott, sellers are generally motivated at this time of year. Why have your house on the market in cold weather? People traipsing through the snow. You hear me say it every year at this time. Unless you're a motivated seller.
You sell in the winter because you have to.
Because you want to sell it. You have to sell it. So you're more apt to go ahead and make a deal happen.
Yep.
Now, springtime, competition, more houses on the market, more people looking. It's just human nature. I don't understand it. Everybody knows the playbook, but they choose to go ahead and be sheep and follow the crowd. And when you follow the crowd, you get swept up in it, and you could end up paying more, okay? Why? It's supply and demand. More people out there looking for homes, and the sellers have more people to sell to. So therefore, the prices in the market the last 5 years have gone up. All right?
Agreed.
It's just that way. And most people, you'll talk to a lot of people, a lot of investors that I talk to will only buy properties in bad weather in the wintertime in Michigan because they can make the best deals. I'm not saying that's right for everybody. I'm just saying that's what some investors do.
I see it every year. They sit out the winter because there's not as much on the market and they're not sure they're going to find what they want. And they don't want to settle. Well, then we come to the spring and they're fighting everybody and everybody's 20 grand over list or everybody's paying cash out of pocket. And what do they end up doing? They end up settling. They buy what they can buy. So I'm not saying you're going to find something, but if you're turning off, your radar in the winter, you're doing yourself a disservice because you may find exactly what you want out there and be able to scoop it up.
It's not a one-size-fits-all. What works for somebody doesn't necessarily work for somebody else. If you feel like you want to buy a house in the winter and you find that house and you can make a good deal, I'm all for it. However, if you want to wait till the spring and summer and you make that conscious decision that the house you want, that you're going to pay a little bit more for, okay, great. Then just do it. That's what I'm saying to you, but you still have to, you can't just jump in the market, then jump out. Jump in, jump out. You've got to do your homework because there are savvy people out there looking for deals. And when I say a deal, I don't mean a discount. I mean looking to do a transaction, and they're going to find what they want. They could, keyword in the sentence, could find a better deal now than they could in the spring.
Just the idea of having leverage at all as a buyer is a thing we haven't seen in quite some time. And we're getting into that situation now where you are seeing some leverage. You can negotiate an issue on an inspection, and they don't say, forget it, we'll go to the next offer.
Buyers are winning now. And after the inspection, and again, folks, look, these houses are old. If you're not doing a pre-inspection of the house that you want to list, if your agent's not telling you to do that, you've got to start asking questions. If you truly want, I'm going to do an open house. I'm going to probably stop by there today and tomorrow. And the house originally was on the market back in June. And I think there were some issues with it that maybe they needed to clean up ahead of time before putting it on the market. Those are tough conversations. As an agent, Scott, you especially, you're out there and the families love you. You typically be referred by other people, but there's deficiencies. And these are going to come up if you make an offer, and it's going to come up and it's going to squash the transaction. If you've got evidence of water in your basement, you should have the paperwork already set up. It should say it on the seller's disclosure, transferable warranty, all those good things.
Yes, 100%. You have to be prepared for what's going to happen. Just avoiding surprises in general. Like if you're going to get beat up on something, just know it.
There you go. Hey, we got tons to share with you. Again, I'm excited for today's show. I'm all pumped up. 812, if you're just joining us, it's the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show. We're going to take your calls here, 248-539-9797. We'll be right back. All righty, welcome back to the show. 8:15 if you're just joining us. Scott Craver, he's in from Opul Realty. I've known Scott for years and years and years. Got a history of being in real estate. And again, you got to deal with the folks that are experienced out there. If you need a mortgage, definitely want to call Capital Mortgage. Funny, 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker. When experience counts, be sure to call Capital Mortgage. And we also want to dive into just a little bit here. Harry, there was talk. There's a lot of speculation. Out of nowhere, we heard someone wanted to introduce a 50-year mortgage, a 1,000-year mortgage, Harry.
Someone.
I like that. Out of nowhere, someone does. All right? I like
Not pointing fingers.
There's, the hot topic in the mortgage industry this week have been portable mortgages and 50-year amortization on mortgages, a 50-year fixed-rate mortgage. It's not there. I just want to touch on it. I would rather worry about your sewer line inspection on the house that you're going to buy rather than a 50-year mortgage. All truth be told, there are some places offer a 40-year amortization right now. So this is not new. This is just a bullet point headline to go ahead and try to spur some conversation.
Yes.
If you want to say people are taking a look at it, you know what? That's fine. It's not close to becoming a reality. All right.
And I like how
you want to call me on that. Go ahead and call me on that. But
It's a longer
not
conversation,
close.
yeah.
There are other things out there, too, that are being thrown around. Again, I believe right this second, it's just for headlines. It's just to grab attention because the whole talk in the economy right now is affordability. All you're doing is kicking the can down the road further and further when you get a 50-year mortgage. Now, there are other products you can get. You can get an interest-only loan right now. Get an interest-only loan.
Yeah, those are back after crushing half the families in America. Those are back again.
You get an
Yeah.
interest-only loan
That's a
and
loser.
pay extra down on your principal if you're going to do that, but most people don't. So what happens is if you buy a house for $250,000, you take out an interest-only loan, and let's say you put 20% down, your balance is going to be the same after 10 years of just paying interest if you haven't paid it down. I don't know what good that does anybody. But there's a short-term thought process and a long-term thought process. It just depends. It's all in the math. And the 50-year math right this second for a lot of people doesn't make sense. That's all I'm saying to you, Harvey, right now.
Yeah, we
All right?
won't
That's
even.
it.
We won't dive in much more than that. Definitely not.
Thank you.
248-539-9797. Maybe we will dive in just a little bit more on it, Harry, because one of the things that first crossed my mind is back in 2008 through 2010, we had a housing crisis. And one of the things happened was values were dropping. Well, if you're never paying down enough principal on your mortgage, it sounds like a recipe for that again.
Yeah.
50% of the marriages don't last. Now we have no equity in the house. You're setting yourself up for a disaster. As you mentioned here, it might work for some folks. Maybe in California where the houses are $2 million and your income is $500,000. It's hard to afford those houses. And maybe they appreciate enough to make up the difference.
Well, as we talk about it, the recipe for success is different for every individual out there, right? So I can't say that it won't work for everybody, but I don't think it's a mainstream program.
Small demographic.
Yeah, it's going to be marketed as a mainstream program, I believe. And I just, right this second, I don't have a feel for it. Doesn't mean it's wrong. I just don't have a feel for it. That's all.
Yeah, I think affordability is really great here in Michigan and most states across the country. Again, is going to approve affordability? Yes and no. And like you said, it's a one-off. Anyways, we will bring that topic up again.
Well, now
for
that
future shows.
last but not least, if it does become a reality, what it's going to do for sure is raise home prices. Because if more people can qualify,
yes.
What does that do if you're a seller? If I get more people as an audience, I'm going to raise the price on the housing market. It's going to continue to go up. So I believe it could make it. It's going to come out of my mouth right now at 8/19, Saturday the 15th, less affordable, not more affordable.
Agreed. And what happened leading up to '08? A lot of people qualified for mortgages. And
Well, the option arm. The option on pick your payment mortgage.
Oh,
How
gosh.
did that work out for everybody?
Not good here. They had four choices, and the choice that most families made was the interest-only choice. Subsequently, home values dropped a little bit. They freaked out. They had no equity, and they walked from their homes.
Or they paid less, and where did that principal go to? On the back end of the loan. So your balance actually went up.
Right.
It didn't go down.
Yeah.
The object, everybody out there, call me if you disagree, call the number, is that when you take out a loan, you want to pay it down. You want to pay it off. Okay, somebody will argue with me and say, well, people move every 7 to 10 years. They never pay. Okay, let's have that argument. Do you want to pay in for nothing? Why don't you just go rent? Okay, renting works.
Yeah,
I have
you
no
can
problem
rent.
with that.
No, you could totally become a renter too.
I don't, but that doesn't get people in the homes.
It doesn't, and not only that, Harry. There's no appreciation. You never get to the point, and I'm getting there. I'm going to be 60 next year here. I'd love
are?
Yeah, I'm getting up
Wow.
there. I know. I don't look that old, but that's okay.
Oh, wow.
But the fact is, I feel good about the idea that I'm within a couple of years of having a free and clear home. And if that's key for a lot of families, especially with retirement, we don't know if Social Security is going to be around in the future. Not everyone has a pension. And this is just another way to keep a roof over your house. Again, Scotty, we're not selling cars here. God bless. I love the car industry. This is a shelter over your head. I'm not hustling cars this morning or motorcycles.
Well, if you think about it. Back when we were growing up, the car loans were 24 months, maybe 36 months.
Look what happened.
Then they went to 48. Then they went to 60. And now they're 72.
72.
Yeah.
Okay.
Car's breaking down by
I
then.
can't advise anybody to get a 72-month car loan. No. I can't.
I always consider, I talk about this with my wife all the time. I said, we pay our house off. That's a bank account. That is a retirement bank account
It's
right
huge.
there for when we want to downsize or when we want to go, so when the kid's gone or, depending on what we want to do. It's security. And having a balance there, that that's just a bill.
Well, we talked about it longer than we thought we were going to talk about it.
My friend Bill Pulte will definitely be calling us on that. He'll call you at the
I'll probably
office.
get that call.
You run into Bill every now. He's
I'll
local.
get that call. Harry, I can't believe you're downplaying a 50-year mortgage. Well, why don't just do a 100-year mortgage?
Why not? 1,000.
And people say, so
Never pay it off.
the counter to the argument was,
Yes.
well, back in the 60s, the longest you can get a mortgage for was maybe 15, 20 years.
Yeah.
And then it went to 30, Harry. So that was 50-some years ago, 60 years ago.
Then we tried 40s for a little.
Now we have to go ahead and we have to progress with the times. It's always we have to grow, we have to progress, we have to. I don't know that this is putting people in a good financial situation. The key words there again is I don't know. I don't know if it is or it isn't. Maybe it'll work for people.
I can think of my aunt's house now because I remember having the conversation with my uncle that he bought this gorgeous house and it was in Oakland County. It was $50-some thousand in the 60s. That house today is worth $500,000.
Yeah.
And of course, back then, they used to say also in the late 70s and 80s here, with the 12 and 4, Harvey, we paid 14%. Well, I said to a guy, I said, but the money markets and CDs were paying you
10,
8-9%, right?
11, 10, 11, yeah.
10, 11%. And then I said, well, you guys were making money on that. He goes, Harvey, no one had money. No one had that kind of money. But here, you worked in a bank back then.
I did.
People were putting some savings away. The interest rates were high. They were able to save the money and make 10, 11% on their money.
I still have from the 80s.
That's huge.
I still have a framed certificate of deposit on the interest rate of 11% back in that day. But again, the wealth now, the generational wealth in the last 50 years, you're talking about that's two and a half generations, has grown. So there's more money out there now. So that's why you're seeing, that's why you're seeing everything go up. Everything has to go up. Nothing stays the same. I don't want to hear about my grandfather rode the streetcar down from Greenfield to Tiger Stadium for 2 cents. Okay, yeah, well, things have progressed.
Right.
All right. And is a 50-year mortgage a natural progression? Again, I'm going to tell you, I don't know. Right this second, I don't know. I'm not cool with it right now.
All right, good or bad buying conditions, Scotty? Well, I'll tell you, it's good. We talked about the opportunity. Let's dive into a couple of listings you brought in because I like talking about homes. And there's some open houses. Actually, I'm going to stop by an open house with my friend Loretta if she ever gets a chance to. I don't know. She said she was going to listen to the radio show. I don't even know if she knows the station, but I'm going to do a couple open houses. Tell me about a couple of listings that you brought in, price points, and why that would make a good value for somebody.
Sure. So I kind of brought in a few different ones here at different price points for us. We've got a couple here in the Westland and Livonia area. Obviously, Livonia is a hot market. The starter homes, the ranches. I think one of the things you're seeing in a place like Livonia is that you've got a lot of boomers that have a lot of equity in their homes, and they decide it's time to go move near their grandkids where they're living. And so they sell their house and they go in there and they start pushing people around with their cash. And I think that's one of the things that's contributing. I saw a stat the other day. I'm not sure exactly what the number was, but there was a much larger number than I expected to see of homes that are paid off right now in America. And I started thinking about that.
Great for people.
You've got boomers that have paid off their homes, but you're also seeing them sell their homes, and then they're going in and they're buying smaller homes cash. So we're getting so many more that are actually paid off. And outside of that, you look at investors that are paying cash for things. So those are technically paid off homes that are rentals. So anyway, with ours, we've got one here in Westland by one of our agents, Rob Duzak, on Perrin Avenue. It's up at 230.
230 a starter home price. Let's go there with this one because I got a lot of young people buying homes. Go ahead.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
Okay, Westland 230, 3-bedroom. Go on.
Yeah, Ann Arbor Road in Merriman, 3 bedrooms, 1.5 baths. Been on the market 3 days. Probably going to be sold by Monday.
Yeah, it'll be sold by Monday for sure.
And that's where you're still seeing competition in the market. People are still out there ready to scoop that up. We've got this other one here in Livonia on Elmira. Now we're getting a little more to a home that's been on the market a little bit. Was originally up at $350. We've just dropped the price to $325. 3-bedroom, 1.5, Plymouth Road in Wayne.
That's a great area.
Nice little area just south of 96. And that's something that, now we're seeing a more competitive price there right at that $325. You're gonna hit that number there where all of a sudden people go, aha, now it's time to jump.
All right. You know what? Hold the third listing there. The music, we got to go to another break here. We got tons. We're going to take your calls here. Hey, Aaron, stay on the line. We want to hear about the house you're selling. Keep it here on 97.1 The Ticket. It's the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show. 248-539-9797. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back to the show. It's a Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show. We talk mortgages and real estate, 248-539-9797. And we want to go to some calls right away. Let's go out to Aaron out in Livingston County. Good morning, Aaron. Thanks for calling in. What's your question?
Good morning. My wife and I bought our house just outside of Brighton in 2019, and just a couple kids. We've outgrown it, and we're looking to move in the spring. But we're in a unique situation where we have an opportunity to move into like an in-laws quarters at a relative's house, and if we want to know kind of what your thoughts are on selling our home and maximizing off the equity, and then just sitting and waiting in this in-laws quarters until we pick the perfect house. You know, what are the some of the advantages are obvious, but I just want to know what your guys' thoughts are versus just, staying in the home and waiting till the perfect house comes around.
Scotty, I'll let you go
Obviously,
with
there's
first.
some risk.
Thanks for the call, Aaron. Stay on the line with us. We'll go back and forth here. Scott, what do you think?
Any time you got the opportunity to sell your home without having to find something first, I mean that's the best position you can be in. Not being up against the wall, they're having to find something, because I get a lot of people that they want to sell, but they don't want to sell until they find what they have, and then we're up against a contingent offer, and we might be able to get you 30 days in the home, but you're still up against the wall, man. So, if you're able to do something like that right now, and you're in an area where you're going to get top dollar regardless, it's a great idea, because then you can sit there, make your plans, jump when the iron's hot, and, get exactly what you want. But keeping your eye open throughout the winter also, and maybe you get what you're looking for and you're not even ready to do it, and all of a sudden
the right house falls in your lap.
You
I
fall
love
into
Brighton, man. I love Aaron. Great call on moving
Aaron,
to Brighton.
I like that, and I did that a long time ago. I had an opportunity to sell my house to somebody who wanted to buy it at the price. We agreed on a price. It was fine for me. It was fine for him. And then I ended up moving to an apartment for 6 months.
Okay.
And I found my house. So I've done that. I think if it's right for you and it's not a hassle for you to move, and you have a family, and if it's not a hassle and you can stay there as long as you want, it's comfortable, and you could really go ahead, you put the money in the bank, you've got it. A bird in the hand is always worth more, right?
Yeah.
So you've sold the house, and now you're going to look around. It's exactly what I did a long time ago. And again, if it works for you, I'm all in favor of it, having experienced it myself. So
sometimes a fun thing for in-laws to have the grandkids there, but it's going to get old real quick. Let's just go there.
I moved
here.
into an apartment.
Okay, right, you're not moving to in-laws.
But if he's got a situation where, and we didn't mind moving twice.
I didn't,
because
I've
people
done it
say,
before.
Aaron, people say, well, he's not on the line anymore, but why are you moving twice? Well, you're moving because you could get what you want out of your existing house, and then you can take your time again and really research the market and go around and look. I don't think that's a bad idea, but you have to be willing to go ahead and relocate a couple times.
You save a few bucks too, Scotty. I mean, definitely you're moving maybe with family, and all of a sudden you don't have your $2,500 house payment, you don't have utility payment. All of a sudden you're putting away $3,000-$4,000 extra each month, and then when the right house comes up, you're ready to go. You're not contingent,
and your ability to be aggressive is there as well. You've got that extra 10 grand in your pocket that you can throw towards something.
There you go. And you don't have to really worry about it. You're not in a position where you're really in a position of strength, because you don't have to sell anything. You go in and you can really your negotiating power is a little bit better because you're not desperate.
Agreed. 100%.
So, I like it.
We take your calls, 248-539-9797. I love that call, because we run into that a lot, that, Harvey, I found the house, but they haven't sold their existing one. And it's going to get real competitive, because the same house that they fell in love with, Scott, as you and I both know, that multiple families fell in love with it too. If you don't have to sell a house and the other offers are contingent, you're going to probably win that. You're going to win
for
that.
sure.
Plus, like as we mentioned, you might have a few extra bucks to throw at it.
I say it all the time to people, if you find something that checks all your boxes, understand it's going to check everybody else's boxes too. Waiting around and thinking that just one's going to come up that you love and nobody else likes, and you're going to be there, you're doing yourself a disservice not to be realistic about that. And again, it's like we talked about earlier, being realistic about your situation, about the home you're selling, about what you want to buy is key. Or
it's
you're never
very
gonna
rare
survive.
that when you go and make an offer and it's your first offer, you're just going looking for a house and you see a house that you like, and it's the first one that offer gets accepted. That's a rarity. Any realtor will tell you that. Scott, you know that. Realtors in our community know that the first offer that somebody makes coming out of the box just generally doesn't get accepted. But if you don't have a house to sell, that strengthens your position.
Agreed. Yeah. definitely. And I talk about that. We talked about earlier about the community and knowing who you're working with and knowing the person on the other side of the deal. That's one of the big things too. As realtors, we can get information from that other side. Sometimes it may help our client be more competitive, and having that reputation of someone that's going to get the deal closed. You may get the edge on somebody there just because of that. So that's an important thing as well.
Great stuff. Definitely folks are buying houses, though. I mean, it's not 2024. I think the sale numbers are going to be similar to 2024,
Yes.
which were a little down. I think the last time they were equal was like 1995, which happened to be a really great year in real estate. But we seem like every fall that we get really busy, and we're starting to feel that now. And of course, coupled with saving a lot of our past clients money on refinance transactions has been phenomenal. A lot of you folks that bought last year, the year before, call us at Capital Mortgage Funding. We just you're going to have better luck. You're going to save a lot more money. Deal with the real professionals. We keep getting these PIWs, these property inspection waivers. We're saving money on refinance transactions. We're getting people out of PMI, out of private mortgage insurance. If you last year spent money purchasing a home, now's that opportunity again. I think there's a little bit of lack of education. Something about our age group where they had so many opportunities to refinance. As you know, Scott, how busy we were in the 90s, Harry. We were taking clients that were 9%, 8.5%, 9%, 10%. They were refinancing down to 7%. Then the rates dropped again down to 6%. So refinancing over the last 20 years has been extremely popular, and there's opportunities there.
Well, it's a way to free yourself up financially. Okay, people are using that as a financial tool, and it's saving them money. Paying 18 to 24% on a credit card. Come on, we got to stop with that.
Right, you can drop your interest rate on your mortgage, save a lot of money, skip a house payment. Sometimes you get a refund of your old escrow. Just call the professionals and get it done the right way. Let's move on to Jason calling in from Monroe. Hey, Jason. Good morning. What's going on?
Hey, good morning, guys.
What's happening?
So we have been looking downriver area, and we put in an offer on like 3 different houses. And the problem we're running into is things that weren't disclosed in the disclosure documents we're finding that are pretty obvious, like even for a layperson like me to spot. We had one that we put an offer, and they said, oh, there's a tiny little bit of mold in the attic. We found it everywhere in the attic, everywhere in the basement, even in the electrical panel box.
Oh, boy.
And we had another one that we found. They said, oh, yeah, structurally it's sound. It's all been redone, da-da-da-da. They get into the crawl space. There's wood falling apart underneath on the subfloor. There's, water damage everywhere. And then we're doing a VA loan, so in particular about looking at concrete and things like that are going to get flagged by the VA. And we're just kind of curious, how do we combat that with things just not being disclosed in the seller's disclosures and in our price range, we kind of feel like at 280 to that 250 to 300 range, we shouldn't be finding things like that.
Well, I think the first thing that you're doing very well is you're getting an inspection. You never waive an inspection. That's rule number 1. Never waive an inspection. So you're getting that inspected. And listen, houses are going to have things. Now, the other issue is, and one of Harvey and my favorite pet peeves is, sellers' disclosures. They're not disclosing everything on there. But that's why you have to hire that inspector. You got to believe that, I don't want to say that people know about what's going on in their homes. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. But that's why you have to hire that inspector. I like that. You got to look for things. You don't want to buy a house that has a lot of problems. If you can go ahead and you can remediate certain things, you go ahead and repair them, get them repaired by the seller. The seller is going to have to do the work eventually anyways if they want to sell that house, because you're not the only guy that's going to figure out that house has something wrong with it. So I applaud you for always getting an inspection. How can you avoid it? You can't avoid it. Just keep doing what you're doing.
Jace, I've done a couple of VA transactions just recently, and again, it's here in Michigan, there's not as many military people. And thank you for serving. Obviously, you or your wife or someone had served, so thanks for serving. We appreciate you. And I've had good luck. I don't want to jinx you. Well, I've had very good luck with appraisals. They don't nitpick everything. They just health and safety issues. A little concrete. If it's raised a little bit, it might not even come off.
Jason, I've got one going right now. The seller knew they were going to have to paint and scrape the house.
There you go.
Certain things in the garage, certain paint. These are all health and safety issues. If handrails need to be replaced, if concrete or steps are crumbling, they need to be done. And by the way, realtors and sellers know that they need to do that. So this is all part of the process that you're going through, and we're here to protect you. The appraiser's here to call things out. The inspectors are there to call things out to protect you. So I think you're doing all the right things. I really do.
I'll say this on the disclosure thing as well. Once an environmental thing comes up, like mold or something like that, that seller is now required to disclose that because it's an environmental
Right, you make a deal
issue.
now, yeah.
So going forward, they'll have to disclose that and change their disclosures at that point. But again, you've got leverage at that point because they know they have it. They know they've got to deal with it. So it's not like they're going to find some other person that's not going to notice it. They have to disclose it now by law.
So it sounds like to me that they did disclose it, but they disclosed it minimally. They said some mold.
Yeah.
When it turned out to be a lot of mold. But when somebody says, you go, and I'm not a lawyer, I don't play on the radio, but if you were taken to a court, somebody's going to say, we did put mold on there.
Right.
Scott, can I go there? All right, we already know that the top 5 or 10% of all real estate agents are the ones you've got to hire. We already know that. Do the pre-inspection. Scott, you just said before the show started, we talked about this. If you're going to list a house, your first thing is you're in there already looking.
Anytime I'm showing a home to somebody, they can look at the granite countertops. They can look at the new appliances. My job there is to do a pre-inspection, really. I don't want to spend their $400 or $500 on an inspection just to find out that something that I could have found could have gotten them away from that home.
All right, when we come back, let's go to the break real quick. When we come back, we always go to breaks when you're telling good stuff here. Don't worry. Scott's going to tell you about that pre-inspection and things you need to look out for when you're looking at that open house. Keep your eyes open. Work with educated agents. All right, we'll be back. 248-539-9797. Keep it here. Welcome back to the show, 845. That's right. You got it on the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show in our 25th year. Always giving you great information about mortgages and real estate. Of course, Scott Craver joins us from Opul Realty. Harry Glantz to my right. I'm Harvey Freed. Always giving great information. Scott, every time you go into something, we got to go to a break here, and it's only a 1 hour show. We do take your calls again, 248-539-9797. Love to hear from you. Again, that pre-inspection, you're buying a house here. If you're going to list your house, well, they're going to hire an inspector, and they're going to be up there crawling in your attic and your crawl space. Get your own inspector in there before you list it, before you get on the market.
Scott, going back to Jason's call, which was a great call, he says, what can I do? I'm finding things out in the seller's inspection. We're inspecting homes. I mean, go ahead with that. I think you always have to get an inspection. And he's finding out, what if he didn't get an inspection and he bought that house?
That's your problem at that point.
Yeah.
I've always told people, and I'm not going to say that I've never done a deal where someone waived an inspection because it just happens certain times. But when I'm ever asked about it, I say, as a professional, I will never recommend somebody waive an inspection on a home, even a condominium. A lot of people talk about condominiums. Well, it's just a condominium, whatever. You can see everything that's there. There are things all the time.
They pop up all the time.
And as far as the pre-inspection, when you're looking at homes, like, don't get sucked in by the brand new kitchen and forget about the rest of the house. You've got to look in corners. You've got to look at walls. You got to take a quick look. If you can get into an attic, pop your head up there and take a look. It's rare, but basements especially. You can go down there and you can see a lot of things in the basement that can tell you structure, water, things like that. Water's a home's biggest enemy.
Well, it's all about fundamentals, right? This is a sports radio station. It's about blocking and tackling, right? Every day in practice, you block and you tackle. You run your specialty plays. You do everything. You got to catch the ball.
Yeah,
right. You got to do your screen
little red
passing.
zone offense here. You want to go there,
you
Coach
do
Harry?
all that.
Move runners over.
So in a house, what are the fundamentals on an inspection? Furnace, roof, foundation, the rest of the mechanicals, the plumbing, the electrical. I mean, those are the fundamental things that you have to look for. Attic, mold, radon, all those. Come on, the sewer.
Well, septic. I love it. Keep going, Harry. You're naming them all.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, this is what you do.
I let them take a look at the pretty parts.
If you skip that in practice, you're going to miss it in the game.
Yep,
for sure.
And that's part of that's part of my plan. And I tell them that look at the pretty things. I'm going through all the big ticket items.
Yeah.
Like
electrical panels. You're already in the electrical panel.
Mechanicals, things like that. Anything that's going to cost you money in the next 5 years, I'm taking a quick look at so that you understand. Again, it's about being prepared. There's a lot of things that you're not going to find. It just happens. Bad luck. It sounds like Jason had some bad luck, to be honest. But, some things you can't find. But anything you can find ahead of time prepares you to understand what you're going to deal with after you buy that home as well.
Yep.
Smart Talk, 248-539-9797. We'll sneak your call. And we got Roy calling in from Westland. Good morning, Roy. What's your question, sir?
Hey, good morning, guys.
Good morning to you.
I've been trying to work on my daughter's home, and I want to know, how much do you think is enough to spend to get it ready to sell? Is it worth putting the time and the effort to repaint everything? She's getting prices on flooring, like the vinyl click-together stuff, the Home Depot Life Pro.
Yeah,
right.
People think that's real hardwood floors, but they do look
how
nice.
much is enough to spend? The floors in the house are terrible right now. I mean, the hardwood stuff, the vinyl, is twice the price of carpet. I mean, is it good enough just to put new carpet throughout?
Well, what are you hoping to get out of the house? What do you think the value of the house is going to be after you fix it up?
My thought is it's worth about $160. It's on a slab.
It was a starter home for her.
I mean,
it is a starter home, and she's moving out. She's going to have a baby.
Roy, in
and
all
the realtor
honesty,
told her she could probably get 150, but never really said, "Hey, do this or do that."
Yeah.
I don't really care for this realtor that she got.
Well, honestly, and the realtor should be able to advise on certain things and what to expect back from every dollar you spend. Certain things will get you more money back. Certain things will get the home sold quicker. Obviously, without putting eyes on it, I can't really advise you an actual number. But, sometimes hardwood floors, they're very attractive to people. They can just be refinished. Sometimes you throw some carpet
Well,
over it.
Not the hard. It's not really the real wood stuff. It's that
vinyl.
Plank vinyl click together. The Home Depot Life Pro.
Yeah.
They're doing a lot of flips with that. Hey, Roy, I got a great idea. Scotty, if you're into this, we could call you after the show. You can have a second opinion. Go out there. Now, again, if it's listed, if it's a listing, you might be able to switch agents. Maybe that's something that you guys need to look in. I would just say this. I'm going to guess, Roy. Your daughter found the agent because she clicked a button.
No, I'm gonna get out.
Actually, she.
Roy, I'm gonna get out of the realtor conversation. Let's stick with what you got to put into it to get what you want out of it. I don't know that I would put 5 figures in it to get $160,000. If it just needs some paint, if it needs some paint and some touch up, and you could do it for $1,000 or $2,000, fine. If now you're getting in the flooring and it's going to run you $6,000, $7,000, $8,000, I might want to pass on that. I might want to pass.
Like the flooring, what's in there now? It's this, similar to the vinyl click together, but it's just horrendous.
Well, you might have to do it.
She can get all new carpet throughout. Obviously not the kitchen. The kitchen has ceramic.
Yeah.
We'll get new carpet for like $2,000.
One of the things you could do, Roy, is offer a flooring concession, something like that as well. If you don't want to put the money up front, you can offer an allowance for flooring or something like that, where a buyer can come in and they can pick what they want as opposed to what you want.
Yeah, you give a seller's concession on that. That could work.
Yeah, like you said, carpet's a lot.
I thought the paint would help it freshen everything up.
The paint is fine.
Yeah,
I don't have a problem with the paint. I really don't.
The paint I can do for $200-$300, depending on what how many different colors there are. I would recommend staying in the same palette. I just finished her nursery for her.
I agree.
But
I like a hardworking dad here. Hey, look, we're going to call you off the air and give you some additional ideas. Scotty, you threw it right out there, and you said
seller's
these
concession.
are some things. Yeah, you could give a flooring. It's a seller's concession. It's just not a flooring allowance.
Yeah.
It's a seller's concessions. They can buy the house. It's a starter home. Usually, it's a first-time home buyer looking at minimal down, anyways. And now they can get into the house for less money. Keep the money in their pocket.
Do what they want to do.
Bam, Harry.
Make it their own.
Do the paint
Scott.
for sure.
That's a great idea, Scott.
There's lots of
That's why we
creative
have
things
Scott
you
on.
can do.
That's why you have Scott on.
Well, we talked about it. You're going to get someone in there. He said it's on a slab, so at least we don't have to worry about what's underneath there.
Right.
There's not a crawl space collapsing. But get into the attic and do a double check on that, because he's going to get some first-time home buyers there. If they call Capital Mortgage Funding, are working with qualified lenders, we're telling them to get that home inspection, and they're going to go in and check out that attic. So make sure the house is really crisp.
Absolutely, especially in an older home as well. They're built great, and construction was a lot better back then, but they're still getting older, and just that's just the nature of the beast there. You've got to keep them up, and sometimes they haven't been as maintained quite as well.
Yeah, flooring's really not outrageous, and I like that. Carpet can really, it gets rid of, it's fresh, it makes it smell good. So you paint it first, you throw in new carpet, maybe all of a sudden there's a bidding war at 160 now. You thought you had a 160 house, now you're 169, 172.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of great homes in great cities in that price range. That's a low price range, even for Westland or Livonia, in
Very
our
hard
area.
to come by.
It's a good price range.
Absolutely.
Sure.
Fantastic. All right, call Capital Mortgage Funding. Get your mortgage. Get a real, true approval letter. That means we run you through and we give you confidence. One thing for sure, if you didn't send your documents and you have a pre-approval letter, it's probably not worth too much. And you're not confident, and you know that out there. And again, call Capital, because we offer every mortgage, FHA, VA, conventional loans. Harry, every down payment assistance program I can think of, Mishta, Chinoa, I've dipped my fingers into that this week.
Yeah, how about that, Harvey? You did that.
There's
You did a
another
Chinoa down
program.
payment assistance program.
Actually, Harry, after all these years, and I used to do a lot of Mishta and down payment assistance, now I'm doing a Chinoa program, which is an interesting program in itself. So there's different programs that are going to match what you're trying to do. And that's the key, is make sure you understand the dollars and your different opportunities. Scott, some folks don't understand that MIP is going to stick on that FHA loan forever. And right now, this is a great time. We didn't even talk about it. If you have an FHA
Tax
mortgage.
deductible.
Oh, yes, that too. But if you got an FHA mortgage last year, the year before, call Capital Mortgage Funding. It could be time to put you into a conventional mortgage and reduce your interest rate and eliminate the mortgage insurance. That's really key.
100%.
Definitely. FHA is a great way. That's how I bought my first house.
Yeah, no, that's great. And, sometimes you're right there on the edge, too, and maybe you just pay a couple $1,000s down and you're out of it. Like you said, the MIP doesn't come off on an FHA loan.
It stays forever
and
unless you refinance the transaction.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know that.
Right.
So you need to get over into that conventional loan.
No, I had a call, sure enough, 2 weeks ago, and he said, Harvey, I want to refinance this is going to be an investment. He has an FHA loan, but he got it in the times 2020 during the pandemic. He's down at 3.125%. I said, you know what? I did the math, and math don't lie. And I said, you're going to hang on to this one. And he just wasn't sure. Yeah, you can hang on to it. If you have an old FHA mortgage, you buy a new house, you can turn that into a rental and keep your mortgage. Yeah. There's nothing wrong with that. So call the experts. I'm finding out more and more, Harry, that there's a lot of people in the industry, and again, you never want me to go there, that aren't dotting the I's and crossing the T's. So I'm just going to keep it nice and simple. You're dealing with experienced people. You're going to get more information and become more confident.
I think you have to do research in anything you buy. In any industry, you have to go and do your homework first. Now, that doesn't mean you're going to get all the answers online or all the answers walking into a retail store. You really have to go ahead and do your homework. And again, it's only about the math, and it's only about doing what's best for you and setting yourself up for success. As Harvey said, we're only going to counsel and advise you if it makes sense for you. If you've got a mortgage in the threes right now, even if you have MIP, it might be worth it to hang on to it. All right, we're not just going to do the loan to do the loan. And I can say with conviction, there are people out there that would. We're going to advise you on what is right and what is not right about what your home mortgage does for you. Because after all, it's the single biggest transaction for most people that you're going to do. And it's extremely important. And if you're fooling around with people's mortgages, and you're not qualified, I think we have a bigger pet peeve with that than anything else.
Absolutely.
So I don't really worry about the experience somebody has. I worry about people advising people, giving wrong information, disseminating accurate versus inaccurate information. Yeah. That's what I worry about in our industry.
Asking questions is not a bad thing. No. We've been doing this for decades, the three of us here, and we still run into things we've never seen before. That's just the nature of the beast.
Going to happen. Nobody knows everything. If somebody thinks they know everything, if somebody tells you they know the stock's going up or they know where this is going to go, if I ever tell you that I know what day interest rates are going to go down, turn me off. It's over. All right. Anybody says that they know for a fact that what interest rates are going to do, they don't know. They're speculating. Yep. Now, we can read the tea leaves. We can go ahead and say, here, based on this, we think this is going to happen, but we can't guarantee anything. Anybody says they can guarantee something, they can't. Guarantee's a bad word in our industry.
I think so, Scotty. Last couple of words here. We're out of time. It's a great opportunity now. Go ahead.
Absolutely. Again, the market, there's a lot of opportunity out there right now. And if you have the opportunity, you should keep your eyes open. You may end up in a great situation and not have to fight the battles come spring.
All right. Now's the chance to get in there. The pendulum could swing the other way. So now's an opportunity for all you buyers out there. Give us a call at Capital Mortgage Funding just to say hello. 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker. Keep it here on 97.1 The Ticket. We got Pat Caputo. He's coming up with sports. Thanks to Scott Craver for coming in and for Harry Glanz and Harvey Freed. Oh, we got Jeff Rieger coming in. All right, Paul, you cleaned us up. All right, Rieger's coming in. Keep it here on 97.1 The Ticket.